want to share some of the key philosophies of our success. I called it earlier, ambition, extreme ambition was definitely the core of our success. But there are 5 other important ideas or concepts, business philosophy that I had, which I give credit to our success. First and foremost, the planning was absolutely critical for us. I called planning as a foresight, not necessarily big corporate planning. I used to use the word foresight for planning. As long as you know what to expect, whether from our customer, whether from the industry, what's coming in, what to anticipate, and if you can build yourself to meet that change, if you can be, visionary enough to look at the oncoming change, you can stay ahead of your competition. And we did. We always looked well beyond where our competition was looking at. I like the quote, I always used to say the change is going to happen, whether you become part of that, whether you take advantage of that, or you get consumed in that. As somebody said, John F. Kennedy's quote, the change is the law of life, and those who look only to the past and present are certain to miss the future. We did not want to miss the future. Most of our competitors were always dwelling on the past and the present. Second, people say that, but in most instances I feel they don't practice it. I do consider the people are the core power of success. You can have product, you can have process, you can have pricing. People think they're a key part of success, but everything ultimately revolves around people. Whether they are your employees, whether they are customers, whether they are vendors, people make the business succeed. I developed a totally different philosophy in people. In choosing employees, I used to call it AAA philosophy. And people are smiling because they know I always use that word on them. The AAA stood for A for ability, A for attitude, and third A for achievement. It's absolutely certain that if you are hiring people for a certain job, it's your responsibility to make sure they have the ability to do the job, they have the right attitude to do the job. And if you're hiring, depending on what management position or higher position you're hiring, that they have shown clear experience or indication of achievement. It's not a treadmill policy. I used to use the word. Achieving goal is a must. So my philosophy was, you hire them well, you train them well, and you treat them well, and you demand extraordinary performance from them if you do all 3. If you don't do all 3, you cannot expect that extraordinary performance. In terms of vendors, we always use the philosophy of, the core philosophy was loyalty. If you cannot be loyal to your vendors, you can't expect your customers to be loyal to you. We develop long-term loyalty with our vendors and absolutely consider them as our partners in success and made sure our vendors thought the same way. So we could work together, not just from year to year on a short-term basis, but for long-term. In our customers, we didn't see them just as someone who's paying our bill. Our customer, we clearly understood 2 things, and we emphasized on those 2 things. One is service, and the second is relationship. We believed strongly that as long as you can build a bond and a relationship with your customer, and you can service that customer's need, everything else works itself out. And that's proven to us. I always give an example of, last year when I was retired, our first customer came to my retirement party in Las Vegas, and we brought him to the podium. He's still as a customer of Transtar. Very proud of that. The third, I had a different concept of profitability than most accountants use. I used to joke about that. The accounting principles are wrong because, accounting principle-wise, you have the gross revenue, less cost of sale, and your gross margin, less cost of, operating, and what's left is a profit. What if there's nothing left? So I used to always, talk to our management team and to have the concept that The profitability, minimum desired profitability, is cost of sales. It's cost of doing business. So the gross margin, the gross sales minus cost of sales minus desired profit is what the gross margin is, or the net margin is. Now, if you want to spend that gross margin in your operating costs and do nothing, you still have that minimum margin of profits. But if you do better than that, obviously you need to have incentive for your management to do better. So we, in our company, we never did anything without the concept of profitability. It was a core of it. I never considered that profitability was one measure of the business success. I considered that was the only measure of business success. And we did not want to be doing business without the concept of the profitability. There's no single goal in business success. Every goal that you achieve is a step to the next one. And I strongly believe in that when you reach a goal, it is just a time to breathe and to begin to have the next goal. And not to be totally mesmerized and obsessed with reaching a goal. And last but not least, you always used to lead by example. If there's a task that you cannot do and you do not want to do, don't expect your people to do it. You must be able to show that you're willing to do it and you can do it if you expect your people to do it. Last, this may sound funny. In one of my MBA course, I also studied, in order to succeed in business, you also need to make a transition from an entrepreneur to a professional management team. And I think I did. When I realized in the 80s that we had grown to a certain level, there's no way I could continue to be a one-man show for everything. We did develop a great management team. We did delegate. And we were able to make a very good transition from an entrepreneurial to entrepreneurial management. You know, you can go through that. You don't have to turn into a sort of bureaucratic management. You can still have a management team that thinks entrepreneurially. And last but not the least, at some point, if you want to succeed, you may even want to transition, out of business. And fortunately, in my case, I timed that very well. Exactly 4 years ago, when the market was very, very top. But I stayed with the company. I stayed as CEO for 4 years and make sure that the company was doing well. And it is going to be well. It's going to be a win-win for everybody.